Jai Srimanarayana. Hare Krishna. Yes, 2.11. Yeah, it is 2.11. So the second chapter is also called as Sankhya Yoga, and it is the summary. It can also be considered as the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so in this chapter, in this Sankhya Yoga, we're going to look at 11th verse, and that would be like Sri Bhagavanu Vacham asocya anvasocastvam prajnavadamscha vasase gatasum agatasum cha nanu sochanti panditaha. I will repeat it once again. Sri Bhagavanu Vacham ashocya anvasocastvam prajnavadamscha vasase gatasum agatasum cha nanu sochanti panditaha. This is actually a very, very difficult verse. I'm sorry. It's a very difficult verse, and to understand this verse, we need to be really very much matured. Not only matured, we should really have to. We really need to detach ourselves from our bondings. So that's why I would say it is a very matured and only very wise people can understand what this verse is really talking about. So this here, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna says that Arjuna, you are unnecessarily worrying, getting into distress. You are mourning, you are crying, you are unnecessarily thinking too much, which is not necessary. In the exact meaning, it says it's like you are unnecessarily worrying and mourning for those things which is not worth it. And he says again that you are talking like a very knowledgeable person. Your talks sounds as if you are talking something very knowledgeable thing, but remember the knowledgeable, the wise, the more mature people will never ever think about the living or non-living or the so-called bodily relationships. So this verse is really a very, very complex verse in my opinion, because people who are, I mean, we all people are attached with lots of sentiments, with lots of relationships. So this verse really sounds very I don't know how politely I should put this, but this sounds very much for people who are very much attached to this bonding, to this relationships. It definitely feels like, what is Krishna talking? This is what a normal person really feels. Seriously, this is what a normal person really feels when he understands the basic meaning of this sloka. But when he really thinks about this sloka, this verse, when he goes for a deep, profound thinking, probably then we will be able to really understand what really Krishna is talking about. It's not that easy to understand. Yeah, probably it's like this. When a person really gets into great suffering, when he gets into a great suffering, when he's completely disappointed with life, probably yes, this sloka really makes sense for that person. Imagine a person has got cheated by his own wife, or probably his own brother, or by his own parents, or something like that, some close bonding where you get cheated or something like that, right? So then that's when you really understand what are these bondings, what are these material relationships. Then probably you will be able to understand, or else it will definitely sound very harsh, and it sounds you will, I'm telling you politely, it's like this, you will just get a feeling, what is Krishna talking about? This is what you will really feel. But it is not like that. It really means a lot. If you go for a profound thinking, then you will really understand what Krishna is talking about. So let's go ahead and try to understand these words. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha. So here Veda Vyasa, whenever Krishna is speaking, he is going to say that it is Bhagavanu Vacha. That means Bhagavan is speaking on these words. Okay. So as I said before, Bhagavan means the person who has all the opulences, all the incredible opulences, and the fullest extent. It's not like just knowledgeable, okay, he is knowledgeable. No, it's not like that. He's not like, okay, okay, knowledgeable. He is complete, fullest, in the fullest form, be it with respect to strength, wealth, knowledge, beauty, fame, pronunciation. Okay. So all these things, all these opulences are in fullest form in the Supreme Lord, in the fullest form. When I say in the fullest form, it is something that will never come down, that will never decrease, that will never reduce, that will never degrade. It is in the fullest form. I cannot really give you any kind of analogy to say that God is in its fullest form. But Acharyas, great Vaishnava Acharyas, and even Advaita Acharyas have tried to personify that as giving an example of the ocean, where the ocean has got lots of water in it. But you try to take some water out of it, but still ocean is not affected. So you look at the ocean's water, you take a bucket of water from it, but still it looks like there is no reduction, or there is no water that has got reduced. It looks like that, right? You take a truck full of water, even then it looks like there is no change in that ocean's water. So this is just an analogy, but frankly speaking, no, we cannot equate God with any example, with any materialistic example that we see here in this world, or probably in this universe. Because God cannot be equated with any examples that we can think of. He is something beyond everything. He is beyond everything. That is why there is a nice sloka in Ishopanishad which says that Supreme Lord Narayana Govinda is Purna Purusha, Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnam Evavasisyate. It says like that. So he is full. He is always full. How much ever he distributes his wealth, how much ever he grows old, how much ever knowledge he gives, uh, at any point of time, he has extraordinary super strength. So he is Purna, full. Okay. So that is why Supreme Lord Krishna is called as Bhagavan. As I told you before, Bhagavan means Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasya, Shriyaha, Jnana, Vairagya, Shaiva, Channam Bhaga iti Ranaha. So he is full in these opulences. Okay. So Vedavyasa, whenever Krishna speaks, he says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So here, Lord Krishna is saying asocya, which means uh, asocya. We can say that asocya means not to worry, not to think, which is not to think of those things which is not worthy. Okay, asocya means that which is not worthy. Anvasocha, you are thinking, you are crying. Okay, tvam means you. Prajna vada, prajna vada. Prajna means prajna. It's very simple to understand, right? Something knowledgeable. Vada means talking. Okay, cha means also. Bhashase, that means your words you are speaking. Gata, gatasum. Gata means gone. Asun means life. Agatasumscha, which is agata. Gata means past. Agata means which is not past. Okay? Agata sum, which means life. Nanu sochanti panditaha. Panditaha means we know it is very learned people. Nanu sochanti means will not lament, will not cry, will not worry about, or will not lament. This is how we can say. This is how we can say the word by word meaning of the 11th sloka. Okay, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha asocya anvasocastam prajnavadamscha vasase gatasum agatasumscha nanu sochanti panditaha. So now Lord Krishna is saying that you are worrying about unnecessary things or those things which you should not worry about. It's a very big statement. It is now, yeah, let me first complete this. So Lord Krishna is saying that you are worrying about those things which you should not really be worried about. You should not lament about those things. And he says, why? Because the words that you're speaking uh, sounds like you are talking something very knowledgeable stuff. You're sounding like a very wise man, but indeed a wise man is a renunciated person. He is not attached to the bondings of the so-called friends, relationships, and all these things that we see around. Because everything in this world is temporary here, right? Everything in this world is temporary. I may sound really very harsh, but I will try to. So you have to excuse me, please, and I will apologize. But I'm telling you something which is very practical, something which is really very practical. So Krishna says, do not worry, do not lament about those things, because the real wise people, mature people, never lament for the so-called bondings and the relationships that we have. He says this. I'll tell you practically. If I ask you, who is your wife? How do you know your wife? It is only just a relationship. Let's say, imagine if somebody asks me this question, who is your wife? How long do you know your wife? I would say, I know my wife for the last 7 years. That's it. And prior to that, I don't know. I don't know who she was. I have never talked to her before in my childhood. It was just at the time of marriage I have seen her and we had some discussions. We felt like we both are compatible and then we got married, right? Another example. I am not going really very deep, but I hope you are trying to understand what I'm really trying to say. The so called bondings are all temporary. So you really have to think about this in depth. Whatever relationship you have got, something which is not eternal, it is just some sentiments that we have. Just because she is nice to me, I am trying to be nice with her. Another example. I don't know who is my son. My son is, let's say, 5 years old now. But prior to that, I don't know who is my son prior to that. He was somewhere else. He might be born as a, I don't know where he was born, where he was living. Because after all, we are all Jivatmas, right? We are all Jivatmas. Today, this body is called as Kiran Kumar. Today, this body is born in India. Today, this body is looking like a male's body, but let's say some 36 years before, or let's say some 50 years before, I was in some other body, correct? It could be a dog's body, it could be a hawk's body, I don't know. But now, since this Jivatma, this Atma has come into this body, let's say some 36 years back, I was born, and my parents started thinking that this is my child, this is my baby. And they obviously, as every parent, they outpoured lots of love, they raised, right? And if anything happens to me, my parents will definitely feel bad about it. They will be they will be shocked, they cannot digest it. But the truth is, this bondings, it is all temporary. Imagine, I am 36 years old now, but imagine I was born and let's say after some 10 days, I am dead. Let's say, for example, I have died because of some problem in my body, because there are so many diseases today in the world, isn't it? Kids or infants are born, and in a day or 2 days or probably in a week's time, let's say I have died. Do you think my parents would have that great love as they have now on me? If the boy, if I have got died, let's say after some, let's say 6 or 7 days or 4 or 5 days, then they would have felt bad probably for a week's time or 10 days time or 1 month's time, but then they will forget. This is all temporary. I don't know where my, today my kid is 5 years old and I have great affection for him. Since he is my child, I want to upbring him in a very nice way. I want to teach him Vedic values. I want to do lots of stuff. I want to teach something so that I want my sons to be good people for the society and worship the Supreme Lord and go back to the Supreme Lord. I have some wishes, right? But I don't know where he was. Let's say some 10 years before. Maybe he was born, maybe he was there in my own family as my some relative, I don't know. And I don't even know, as I told you before, when a kid is born and after a few days, imagine the kid dies, then we just give it up. We say it's fate. We say that that's his destiny. That's the time he has got on this earth, and after that he has to move away. Correct. So all these people that we see, all these bondings, all these relationships, all these friendly relationships that we have, it comes, it goes off. Someday or the other day, it just really goes off. And real wise people do not really lament about all these things because they do not see the so-called person in him. They see a soul in him. They see an Atma in him. And they realize that this Atma is moving from one body to another body. It's moving, it's just moving from one body to another. So, a real wise man, a matured man, a real devotee will not lament when a person or when a soul moves from one body to another body. This is what Supreme Lord Krishna is trying to say. When you read this sloka for the first time, it might really sound a little harsh, harsh indeed. But then, if you really try to understand this with deep understanding, really you have to understand it. Then you will get it. Even Adi Shankaracharya says the same kind of thing in the slokas Bhajagovindam. Kate Kanta, Kastye Putra, Samsaroya Taviva Vichitra, Kasyatvam Kakutaya Yataha, Tatvam Chintiya Tadiya Brataha. He asks the same questions. Who is your wife? Where did she come from? You are developing such great affection, love, and bonding, and you are getting attached, addicted to her, as if that relationship is some kind of eternity. And then again he says, Kate Kanta, Kastya Putra, who is your son? Why are you getting, why are you having that great affection towards him? This is samsara. This keeps on happening. I will not go more much deep in detail because this might really hurt someone's feelings. And I've tried really my level best to explain this more in to explain this in detail. These relationships are all temporary. These relationships will also keep changing as per the need, because at the end of the day, we all have to survive. Just because some person in our relative has died, we will not go and give up our life just because that person or that soul has moved out of the body. We will not go and give up our body and die for them, right? Things keep going. And a practical thing that we see in our lives, imagine a husband dies for a wife, and let's imagine the wife is really very young. She has to go on, right? Or else the society, we all know what kind of society we are living in. So she needs a support, a male support, a man's support. So she will definitely lament. She will definitely feel bad that her husband is not alive, has died. But life has to go on, right? So I hope you are trying to understand what I'm really trying to say. So here Krishna says, Nanu sochanti panditaha. You should not worry about these kind of things. And why is he saying all this? Because Arjuna said lots of things. Lots of things. What did he say? In the first chapter, he says that uh, he says unwanted population will increase in this world. People will not have any kind of values in their families. Family tradition will go distorted. Ancestors of such distorted families will curse the people who are on the earth, and there will be no yajnas that will happen when there is no proper direction from the family members. Because Arjuna says that if I kill the so-called warriors in this war field of Kauravas, then all the women, their wives, will have nobody to support, will go in a very chaotic direction. and the population, the kids of those warriors will go havoc, and the complete community will get devastated. And by doing this, I will go into hell. He says that he says that the person who destroys family traditions will always dwell in hell. He says, Narake niyatam vaso. It's in a verse called in the first chapter. Arjuna says, Utsanna kuladharmanam manushyanam dhanardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatiti anu shusruma. He says, by doing these kind of things, wrong things, people, I mean, the person who destroyed a family tradition will go into hell. So I am afraid of doing this war and killing the great warriors of Kaurava family. And then by killing them, I will go into hell because I am the person who is distorting the family values. So by doing this, I will not first of all enjoy this kingdom because I am killing my own people. I will have no royal happiness. And I will have a great regret that I have killed my own relatives as long as I live. And then after that, I will have to go into hell. So these are the statements that Arjuna gives to Krishna. And then he says that my Gandiva, I am not able to lift my Gandiva now. My hands are shivering. So I cannot do, I cannot fight. This is what he says to Krishna. So after listening all these things, then Krishna says this words that how come this weakness has come onto you? Because you are a great warrior. You are a great warrior that you could beat the Gandharvas. When Duryodhana was captivated by Gandharvas, it was Arjuna who went and fought with the Gandharvas and relieved Duryodhana from Gandharvas. Or else Duryodhana would have gone long time before. So you are a great warrior. And today you have, how come you have become so weak? And you know the value of life. It is not that you are not a wise man. You have read lots of literatures. You are a very religious person. You are a very matured person. You have done tapasya many times. So how can you talk about this kind? How can you say these kind of words? That is why he says, "Asocha anvasocas tvam prajnavadamscha vasase gatasum cha nanu sochanti panditaha." So he says this. But here we also need to look at Arjuna's feelings because Arjuna is not a cunning personality. He is not a greedy, envious, jealous person like Kauravas. He's a very nice person. He's a great devotee of Supreme Lord. That is the reason why Krishna has decided to give this divine knowledge to Arjuna. He's a very nice devotee, very nice person. So if you look at any devotee, all the devotees, be it a devotee to Lord Shiva or Vishnu or Brahma, whoever it is, okay, generally I'm saying pure devotees. I mean, devotees, it's not for the sake of some materialistic desires. I want to become the richest person. I want to become the most powerful person. I want to dominate the world. No, not that kind of devotees. Devotees, real devotees, pure devotees, which means who just love the Supreme Lord, who just love a Devata, who just like Devata, because they have offered lots of blessings on them. So that is pure devotion, right? What do you call? What do you think love is? It is not an exchange of things, right? without any reason. There is no reason. And you like that person. You feel like doing anything for that person. That is what we can call as love, right? So any devotee you can think of, those devotees would have some common characteristics. That is compassion, kindness, forgiveness, and they always want to help people. They want to uplift people, and they don't want to do any kind of harm to people. They are in a kind of philosophy which is like live and let live. And in other languages, it's like Madhava Seve Manava Seve Madhava Seva, or Madhava Sevaga Manava Seva, something like this. So they are always helpful. They are always, they can forgive people, even those people who have done wrong to them. They have great patience. They have great compassion. So that is some kind of qualities of good devotees, which is also given in Bhagavad Gita again. It is something like it. It's a very nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. It comes in 11th or 12th chapter, and it says that the real devotees are always helpful, compassionate, forgiving in nature. Okay, so as a great devotee, as a nice person, as a person who has read lots of scriptures, Vedic scriptures, Arjuna, without any doubt, felt, has got confused. He has got confused. He lamented. He feels sad for the people who are going to die in the war. But again, Krishna gives the right knowledge that you are not supposed to worry about these people because they are all atmas, which is put in some kind of bodies. They are all put in some kind of bodies. I will try to explain this a bit more in detail. See, a body, an atma that is in Duryodhana has done lots of wrong things. And if that atma still sits in that body, it will do more chaos, more havoc to the society. But if it goes out from that body, since it is dying in the war field, since it is dying in the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, in front of the Supreme Lord Krishna, he would definitely get a better body. He would get some better body. He might go to some loka like Indraloka or Swargaloka, and he would also get another chance to live a better life, unlike living a demoniac life. Another person, I'll give you another example. Bhishmacharya, who is great grandfather, who would be somewhere around like some 200 or 250 years probably, or maybe more than that. Okay, so his atma, who is sitting in that body called Bhishmacharya body, once he is dead, once he dies, once he leaves his body, he will go to another nice loka because he did some extraordinary work as long he was alive. He was a very great personality. He was his atma, or he is one of the vasu. There are ashta vasus, and he is considered as one of the vasu. So we will again go back and retain his vasu position. Dronacharya, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Once he dies, his atma is going to take another better position. He will go to some Indraloka or Brahmaloka, God knows. Right? So every atma has got some kind of position in one place based on his good deeds or bad deeds. right? So he has to do his duty. Now, it doesn't mean, now the ending you have to really focus. Now, this doesn't mean Krishna is encouraging violence. He doesn't want him to become like a terrorist, create terror, and kill off people around him. No, he's not saying that. He is saying that we have tried a number of times to avoid war. We have tried a number of times. And you have been patient all your life. You have been patient. You have got lots of harassment on you, on your family, and you have waited enough. And now we have decided, yes, we are going for a war. And that too, not to show our prowess. It is only to keep dharma, to make dharma alive, to 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 kill the all those wrong people, all that demoniac mentality, all those demoniac mentality kings. So we are here to kill all those demoniac people. So by killing all these demoniac people, we are going to establish good to the society. We are going to re-establish the righteousness. We are going to rule the kingdom and the society and the people, the citizens of the kingdom in a very good way. So whatever we are doing is something correct. You might wonder now, what wrong did Bhishmacharya do? What wrong did Dronacharya do? The wrong thing that they have done is there might be some instances in their life that they have done, like witnessing Draupadi, Draupadi's, what do you call that? When she was disrobed, right? They have witnessed, but they did not stop for some or the other reason. They are very great enlightened persons for sure, no doubts in that. But as a human, we all are meant to make mistakes. To err is human, right? So they did some kind of small mistakes in their lives. So for that mistakes, they have to bear the pain, and then they have to take a better body. So why are you so worried about? This is something very detailed thought thoughts that I am giving to you. As per the verse, it simply says that Lord Krishna says that don't worry too much about unnecessary things, especially those things which you should not worry about. Pandita, a real wise person, will not worry about these kind of things. But to make it more clear, because people who are listening it for the first time will definitely feel it very harsh. They will find it very harsh. So for that reason, I am trying to explain much more in detail, going to the depths of the characters of these great, enlightened persons like Bhishmacharya or Dronacharya or the other person, Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, and I'm trying to give more insights. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Okay, I have tried my level best to go very much in detail and explain you. So let's recite this sloka once again. So, wise person. Oh, sorry. Let's recite this sloka once again. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha asocya anvasocas prajnavadamscha vasasi gatasum agatasumcha nanusochanti panditaha. So Krishna says, while speaking good words, great words, you are unnecessarily lamenting, you are unnecessarily mourning, which is not worthy of sorrow. So he says, the learned people, the wise people, neither lament for the dead or the living, because we're all jivatmas, we're all atmas, where we have been moving from one body to another body. So today, imagine I leave this body. Based on the good deeds and bad deeds, I'm going to get another body. There is nothing so bad that people have to really lament about someone's death. Now, that doesn't mean, again, don't go for homicides and genocides just because Krishna is saying that, yes, this is Atma, it keeps on moving. And Krishna says, wise don't lament for these kind of things. No, it's not right. They have a justification. They have a perfect reason why they are killing the Kauravas, because they are demoniac in nature. They are a big disturbance to the society. They are very wrong minded people, right? So, just like another example, our military force is killing terrorists. They are doing something good. They are really doing something good. It's that kind of example. It's yeah. If I have to really give an analogy of the situation where Arjuna is trying to kill the demoniac people, Kauravas, is just like that. That is the reason Krishna is encouraging him and saying him that please go ahead and do your dharma. As a warrior, your dharma is to fight for the society, to fight for the righteousness, because you are a king, you are a kshatriya. Okay, so I hope you have understood uh, the sloka and the verse. Thank you so much for your time. Hare Krishna, Jai Sriman Narayana.